Paul would ask various of his friends what a paid professional liar was, and he would receive answers ranging from barrister to politician to writer to clergyman, depending upon the friend's age and level of cynicism. His mother, all curls and patient amusement, mainly seemed to exist to say, "Oh, come now, my dear, really," in an ongoing endeavour to bring Paul's father up short. It never worked for long. Paul's sense of time, however, changed utterly, as did his world, with the arrival and startlingly quick departure of Bonnie. Bonnie first made herself known to Paul when he was lying on the couch in the family drawing-room, gazing at the blazing fire in the fireplace one chilly autumn London night. His head was resting on his mother's lap, and she was gently stroking him about the shoulders and cooing soft words about what a kind and loving and excellent boy he was. It was at that moment that his mother's stomach kicked him in the back of the head. This was an unusual occurrence in and of itself, augmented by his mother's abruptly calling out for Paul's father and announcing, "She kicked." Paul was puzzled by his mother's suddenly referring to her stomach as she, and his bewilderment only grew as his parents sat him down and explained to him that a baby was growing in his mother's stomach. A baby girl, his mother insisted, although his father said that they didn't know yet, but his mother said they did, or at least she did, and that was quite enough for her. Paul gazed in wonderment at the passenger within his mother's stomach. He was quite distressed to discover that she, for he had taken to calling her she since his mother seemed so confident, was bereft of clothing and toys, and at one point he came to his mother with some outgrown baby clothes of his and a rattle that he'd found during a walk in Kensington Gardens. He proffered the treasures to his mother and urged her to swallow them, so the baby could clothe herself properly and have something to play with besides. This caused great laughter in his mother and his father, and for all those cannibalistic relatives, whenever the story was told, and retold. Paul never understood quite why it was funny, but since he liked bringing smiles to people's faces, he never let it bother him too much. He watched with continued fascination as his mother's belly expanded in a manner that he never would have thought possible. As it did so, Colleen would spend inordinate amounts of time reading both to Paul and to his soon-to-be sibling. It was not as if she had been stingy with her reading time before a baby had been placed into her stomach through mysterious means, but now she read far more often, and even told Paul to join in. She said that it was wise to familiarize his little, probable sister with the sound of his voice, so she would not be completely bewildered as to who was who, when she finally was removed from her place of residence by the doctor, through other equally mysterious means. Colleen would read the tales of fancy that Paul's father foisted upon them, although always with one eyebrow raised in grudging patience over such frivolousness. The aforementioned elves and leprechauns and mermaids and jolly rousing adventures of piracy and wild Indians and such paraded through the lad's active imagination, and every day he would go out in the backyard and pass the tales on to whatever animals happened to be lounging about. Still in all, Patrick's practice of speaking tales pulled wholly from his memory rather than refracted through the prism of another storyteller were the ones that Paul truly adored, because they were more personal. And of all those, the tales of which he was the most fond were the ones involving the individual who had achieved fame far and wide as the boy. The most splendid boy in the world, as he would not have hesitated to tell you, given the slightest opportunity. There was some confusion as to the boy's whereabouts, according to Paul's father. He said that some claimed the boy was an infant who rode on a goat in Kensington Gardens after lockout, playing his pipes and cavorting with the woodland sprites that supposedly populated the area. Other times the boy was reputed to reside in a land called the Anyplace, which could be reached by flying to the third star on the left and continuing until morning. When Paul asked eagerly if his father had ever encountered the boy personally, his father became very quiet, and then seemed wistful, as if he was either remembering something he had accidentally forgotten, or trying to forget something he had no desire to remember. Finally, instead of